Hi, this is actually a small feature that was introduced in Pro 5.3 for a specific customer. It did not get a lot of well publicized, so I figure in Pro 5.4 this is a good time to introduce or maybe reintroduce this to you. I'm not sure what to call this feature. Basically, as customer wants to maintain the kiosk generic account information when you log into a Citrix server that has kiosk installed. As you might know, at least the way how kiosk work is when you log into a kiosk machine, doesn't matter who you log in as Mike L or as Neil. After you log in, actually you log in as the generic account person. But this is not working out for this customer in this case. In this scenario, imagine you have a hospital with different floors and you have a nurse. This is nurse Michael, and he goes, he works different shifts, go to different floors. So, and in each different floor, the computer is tied into a printer. This is a printer. So of course, when you're using this machine, floor number 2, and when you print, you like to get your printer in floor number 2, or when you go to floor number 3 and you print, you want to go to this printer. So what they did is each floor is a kiosk account. So in each floor is a kiosk account, and this generic user account is tied into a printer. So it doesn't matter who log on to this kiosk account. Whenever this person prints, it's going to come to this printer. Same thing with floor number 2. This works so far. However, what happened is they also like to use the Citrix client to log on to a XenApp server. Which has kiosk. So let's say nurse come here, floor number 2, works, print out, everything's good, but then he used the Citrix client to log on to the XenApp. Okay. Prior to 5.3, when you log on to XenApp, which has kiosk, you'll be logging on as kiosk XenApp generic account. But they want to maintain kiosk floor 2 generic account. They want to maintain that when they log in to this XenApp. So we made a change to make this possible. So from this kiosk machine, you use Citrix client to log on to another kiosk machine, which happened to be the XenApp server. You'll be logging on. You retain this original kiosk generic account information, user information. So this way, even when they log on to the XenApp kiosk machine, when they want to print something, you still come to this printer. Well, this problem we solved this in 5.3, but also there's a lot of configuration, a lot of setup that needs to take care. Well, first of all, you take care of doing this by a different OU. So you create an OU for each floor, and it could be at the domain level or at the OU level, the XenApp machine. And these are different kiosk accounts. I have, any machine that belongs to this OU will be using the kiosk for 3 account. Any machine logging to OU will be using the kiosk for 2 account. Any machine that belongs to this domain level is going to be using the kiosk XenApp account. This is the XenApp server. So how I show you how it look on the whiteboard, and this is how it look on the real computer. This is a domain controller, and you can see that I created different OUs. I have OU floor number 2, OU floor number 3, and of course also I still keep the main domain, and you have to set up the policies in 3 different places: in the default domain, and also in each OU you have to set up the policies. The policies is the same for each OU, so I'm just going to show you one. Here, as always, go to the kiosk administration. You set up the kiosk workstation share account settings. Of course, this is to make kiosk work. One important thing is you need to enable this one, the log on unlog with share account credentials. This way you can log in using, instead of logging as Mike L, you log in as using a generic account user. So this is needed. This is what we want to do. And of course, don't forget, always come and set up here the identification server settings. You need to have this for kiosk to work. This is a no-brainer. I actually had to digress and to make a correction. This setting, this GPO about allow automatic logon using share kiosk account, this is needed. You need to enable it. This is to work around that problem we have with Citrix, where we have some incompatibility of our CRE provider with Citrix. So by setting it to automatic logon, you can avoid that problem. So you do need to set the allow automatic logon using share kiosk account enable, in addition to setting the logon unlock with share account credentials enable. And here is the Zen app server machine. It has Pro Kiosk installed. There's not much to show here except that I can log in to the Zen app server as anyone. There's Michael, and I'll be logging in as the kiosk Zen app. As you can see, I don't know if you can see here, kiosk Zen app generic account. But if I would have done this from a different machine using the Citrix client to this Zen app machine, I would not be logging in as kiosk Zen app. I'll be it will inherit that user, the kiosk generic user that it came from. So actually, I don't quite understand why the customer want to install kiosk on the Zen app desktop. I believe everything would have worked if they just install Pro Workstation. But in this case, they insisted they wanted the kiosk on the Zen app. So I'm going to log off and show you the other 2 workstations. Okay, and now here is the workstation. One of the workstations on floor 2, for example, floor 3, for example. And I'm going to do the demo now. This is how it will work. And I'm going to do, for this video shot, it's going to be one shot. Okay, one shot from beginning to end with no video editing. So there's no tricks. Okay, Control Alt Delete to log on. I had the auto log on set, so you would automatically log on. Okay, just to show you here, zoom in, go to start menu, and I'm logging as kiosk floor 3. Okay, and then now I'm going to log on to Citrix now as kiosk floor 3. I'm going to zoom out. Then it launched the desktop on my Zen app. And if I go to the start and I look at who's logged on, is kiosk floor 3. What a surprise. even though the ZenApp machine I had set to a different kiosk account. It's called Kiosk ZenApp. But when I did this client login using Citrix, it maintained the same kiosk account that the local machine belongs. And this machine remains in kiosk mode. You can tell by if I go to the ZenApp desktop and launch our user console, it asks you to authenticate with a username. This means it's running in kiosk mode. And voila, this is it. This is how it works.